Hare Krishna. Greetings from the Super Soul farm. A very nice place here. And I will move during the festival. So let us begin. I will read the the verse and then give the disclaimer for today's class. Reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Book 2, Chapter 1, Text 2:14. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Evaṁ saṁvatsare jāte, mayā tatraikadā śrutam, Mathurā prāyātebhyo, tratya-vṛttaṁ viśeṣataḥ. Thus 1 year passed, and then one day I heard some detailed news about Mathurā from visitors who had come there. Purport: Gopkumar heard these visitors describe the splendor of the cows, cowherds, birds, trees, forest animals, and other residents of such neighborhoods as Sri Vrindavan and Govardhan. Om Jnana Timirandasya Kananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmulatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, okay, greetings from Super Soul. This is kind of my disclaimer, just to talk about something I have realization about right now, which is my unpreparedness for the class. I feel that level of integrity kind of will spark me in some kind of inspiration. But I just finished about 3 weeks at Tota Gopinath's house in absolute regulation. Doing the same thing every day, and you build up so much momentum. And then Rath Yatra was kind of different. You know, even the eating. You know, when you think about eating, there's so many people to meet, and it was also very interesting that I'm sure many people couldn't come, but a lot of people did come. But it was quite comfortable. There was just a drizzle the whole time. And I think it's always Jagannath's mercy. And then it's just a time, there's choices to make. I could be absorbed in the kirtans, but there's just so many people that have deep connection with, and some people that I haven't seen in a long while. And reaffirming those connections it was really important for me. And I think I got up at 1 a.m. and went all day, and I don't think I got to bed until close to midnight. So much excitement. So my what you usually see here is a person who has fixed in his bhajan, finished his deity worship. And I've really been preparing the classes. I've been doing that, especially when it's at Tota Gopinath, the regulation. Because generally, for so many years, I don't really prepare the classes. Oh, I do. I read a little bit before, but I really prepare them. I got into this habit. Yeah, now I'll go over the verses. We'll get to them. I'm sure something will come out. But, so interesting. I mean, Jagannath down Fifth Avenue, beautiful. Remember, Prabhupada in his early days organized Jagannath Rath Yatra. And that mood of the Rath Yatra, which is the essence of Krishna consciousness, and I think it has something to do with the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta also, that what Krishna is not just it's not just a specific person. But it's the full manifestation of that person of Godhead. So in one sense, if Krishna leaves Vrindavan, is it Krishna or not? It is and it isn't. Because the person is there, but outside of Vrindavan, the full revelation of that person is not there. That's why in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one of the main theological texts of our tradition, one of the first things that Rupa Goswami does is define what Krishna means. Akila, I've said this, Rasamrita Murti, the Murti, the embodiment, Akila Rasamrita, of the nectar, Akila Rasamrita, of the Akila, of the complete Murti, nectar of the full person of Godhead. And I make this point, and I think I phrase it in my own way, that what we are is our love. Mother, father, daughter, son, teacher, student, friend. We are our love. So, and we have relationships with the person according to the love that they manifest towards us. So that's Krishna. So when you're with a person, in the relationship you have with the person, but he's not in a position to manifest that part of the person whom you have a relationship, which is his particular personality and mood and affection. Of course, the person is there, but our lover is not manifest, or our parent is not manifest, or our friend. This is basic Krishna-katha. So this mood of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta that Lord Chaitanya had, understanding it's the deities of Krishna, his sister and Balaram, coming back to Vrindavan, where he can manifest the full aspect of himself, with whom the intimate devotees have relationships with. And therefore, when Lord Chaitanya was in Rath Yatra, and he was dancing and experiencing that mood, he was chanting that verse that expressed that mood, which Rupa Goswami later codified exactly, overtly into what he was talking about. It is the same moonlight month of the night of Chaitra, the same Malati breezes are blowing in the air, but I'm not happy here. I want you back in our youth. So it's such an intimate thing, and the Lord of the universe coming down Fifth Avenue. Still, how do we have, this is what, I think next year will be the 50th anniversary of New York Rath Yatra. And the accomplishment of Prabhupada in those short years. And anyway, so I take full advantage of it. But as Chanakya Pandit says, traveling makes a man old. I think because of my day yesterday of travel and not drinking water, I don't drink when I go out. Not that I have anything against the New York City bathrooms, but I don't drink water when I go out. Eating, I don't know what I eat. Then when I get something, I eat whatever I can. And then getting back so late. So by Krishna's grace, a little hoarse, but my health doesn't get affected. But if I was a different constitution, it wouldn't be good. Okay, let me get into the verse, which I haven't prepared, but we'll still get into something, and I think we can all appreciate how the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, I'm relishing this book. And now we have the story of Gopakumar, which is being told to the Brahmin. Gopakumar is doing that out of compassion. We generally don't talk about ourselves and tell our story unless it has relevance, but he sees it has relevance to this Mathurā Brahmin, and this affirms the principle that the foundational principle of yoga is ahimsa, which is compassion and nonviolence, and that takes precedence over any other principle generally. Of course, we have the Gita, where external kind of violence was done, but not with the consciousness of violence. So we're talking about more the consciousness of hate. Because if you can't control the mind in relationship to restraining the will and the action to do harm to others, you haven't began any form of yoga. So Gop Kumar says, well, this kind of, I'm telling my story. Vaishnavas don't want to tell their story. Because when you tell your story, you're in the center. And the whole idea of Vaishnavism and spiritual life is getting out of the center. Because the consciousness of I'm the center, it's the consciousness where love doesn't flow and service doesn't flow, and where consciousness which reaches our fruition in love and service. So when one comes to a spiritual life, and if he takes a position of authority, he does it only in the mood as a servant. As a servant to my spiritual master, I take this position. So a Vaishnava, he's resisting material designations that give him power. He doesn't want to identify with those. In fact, how is bhakti defined in the Narada Pancharatna? Sarva padi vinirmuktam tatparattvena nirmalam rishikesha sevanam bhakto uchate. Bhakti is called what? Sarva padi, all material designations. Vinirmuk, liberated. And our rishikesha, and our senses, instead of using them to exploit objects with the objective of enjoyment and control and superiority, we contact objects in relationship to the pleasure of Krishna. This whole shift of consciousness from I am the subject and everything is the object to God is the subject and I am the object. And shifting that agency from my own will and desires to be the center to serving Tvasmin Parama Prema Roop, the highest form of love is to God. So Gop Kumar, he was so hesitant. I don't want to tell my story. I don't want to tell my story. Jai me, putting me in the center. No, I'm just a servant. I don't want to be there, but the principle of compassion, my story is an example for this person. And therefore, I will reluctantly tell this story. And if you go through the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, we went through the first book. What is the nature of everyone? I have another class of Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, and Narada is Narada is told Indra told Narada that, no, I'm nothing. I'm nothing. I'm the king of heaven. That's nothing. The king of heaven, that's nothing. You know how long my father lives? I live 1/14 of his day. That's how long my life is. My life of service. I'm Indra, the king of heaven. What is my life of service? It's 1/14 of a day of my father. I live a long time. I could get proud. I live 14 times 3. No, I live 73. 72 times 4,300,000 years of service. Dhanurdhara Swami, over 50 years of service. But Indra, how many years of service of Indra? 72 times 4,300,000. But Brahma, Indra says, Brahma, 1,000 times 4,300,000 years is his day, times 2 is his night, times 365 is his year. And he is the dispenser of karma. Do you know what a complicated service that is? And then we have to realize that karma is coming to us for us. It's for rectification. Brahma's the engineer. He's so intelligent. 1,000 years. 1,000 times 4,320,000 years times 2 times 100 of that service. And then Narada goes and sees Brahma. And he sees him, he's worshiping the Mahapurush. And then Narada comes to his father. You're the Vedas. The Vedas, they're eternally existing, but they come through your mouth. You are so great. You are so great. And what does Lord Brahma say? You foolish son, have I not taught you logic? Where is I taught you everything has to have logic. Everything has to have evidence. And here you're saying that I'm something. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. I'm in charge of the universe, but what do my people do? Varuna, one of my main right-hand man, he kidnaps Narada's father. Indra tries to destroy Vrindavan. And I myself stole all the cowherd boys. I'm nothing. Anyway, Gop Kumar, I'll tell you my story. And then this is his story. He gets initiated, gets a mantra, the guru disappears. The Bhagavat Sarup Gyan, the Sambandha Vishesh Gyan that comes with that mantra, that comes with connection with a lineage, that conception that I am connected with Krishna, that conception that I am a resident of Vrindavan, that is my potential. I will realize that potential. That is the taste that I have in my heart, even if it's not fully developed. By the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of his followers, I am in this line, and I will say, but he doesn't. He didn't get any instructions. So and because his guru said this gives you God. Oh, where is God? And he's on his search. And if you've been following the story, I don't need to repeat it all the time. But in his search, he's directed to Puri, and he sees Lord Jagannath, and he just stares at the devotee. He stares at the Lord, and when he stares at the Lord, it's, I said, like a magnifying glass, and the sun coming, and a piece of paper starts to burn, and he's looking at the Jagannath, and he's feeling this kind of sambandha. He's feeling, and when he focuses and he becomes absorbed, then he forgets all his anxieties, he forgets all his troubles. But then somehow or other, he has this attachment to this place. He feels I'm with God, but God, he appeared in Mathurā. Anyway, somehow this Gop Kumar, he becomes the king of Puri. It reminds me of that famous television show. I hate to see him. I'm in the mood now. Anything can come out from my consciousness. Candid camera. When you least expect it, you're elected. You're the lucky guy. Smile. You're on. So Gop Kumar, when you're least suspected, you're elected. and somehow or other he becomes the king. It's such how God arranges it that he's so attractive, Gop Kumar. He's just inner charisma. He doesn't have to do it. He's got this braja bhakti. It's somehow natural in him. He doesn't have a real deep understanding of what's going on. He has this mantra that's purifying his heart, but he like again, a main theme. When you don't have sambandha gyan, when you don't get your doubts cleared and get your understanding fixed, then your devotion will go like this. But if you have faith, trust based on experience, you've been to Govardhan, you've been around Govardhan Hill, you've met the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, you've been in a kirtan, you've experienced it, you've seen the quality of some of the people that have come to this path, and you have that experience. It carries you forward. But without the GPS, Guru, Parampara system, and not just the formality, but the connection, the education, the instruction, you go like this, but you know where you're going. It's like previously when there wasn't a GPS, or even when there was a GPS. But one thing even a GPS couldn't figure out is there's this one thing. I think going from Route 9 in New Jersey to the Holland Tunnel, I swear to God, there were 3 exits that were 5 yards apart. Which one you take? You can just go in circles, but generally, you have the direction. I remember when I didn't have GPS, and you turn wrong, and then you go wrong, and you go wrong, and this. But you have the right faith, you have the right goal, you have the right direction, but you don't have the right abhideya. You're not really so fixed on what the means to get there is, and it goes like this and goes like this. It's a very interesting journey. And what's so interesting about this story of Gop Kumar is that
You're muted, Maharaj.
was I muted the whole time? Haribo?
Yeah,
No,
just
just
for a
now.
second.
Just a second. Okay, where was I up to? No one remembers? Okay. I'll somehow get back into my bhav here. Okay. Okay, anyway, so Gop Kumar, he becomes the king, and he's moving that direction. Oh yeah, so Krishna's moving everything. And he purifies us in different ways, but everything. Oh yeah, as I said, there's going to be a retreat and my Monday morning greetings, but it's a Bhagavatam verse about the quality of gratitude. And the foundation of gratitude is seeing the universe as friendly, in the sense that there's a plan. There's a plan to elevate our consciousness and make us happy. And everything that comes to us is to elevate our consciousness.
To elevate our consciousness.
What happened? Some voice. What was that about? Everything that comes to us is about elevating our consciousness. So we watch Gop Kumar, how many things come. And one thing that comes, and sometimes I know how much sometimes we get what you want. And what's that thing? You can't always get what you want, but try sometimes you get what you need, or sometimes you get what you want, to let you know it's not what you want. Know that you want. So somehow or other, he wants an intimate relationship with Jagannath, which he doesn't have the position in Puri of these advanced Brahmins, or even the king who has special privileges. He sees when the king comes, everyone clears out and the king can see the deity, and he wants that intimate relationship. And then somehow or other, God arranges that somehow the king, when he dies, the king's son is he doesn't want management. He doesn't want to rule. And somehow or other, Jagannath speaks to the Brahmins and gives them directions, and the person who should rule is Gop Kumar. So he does his job. He increases the festivals, but it restricts the protocol of his responsibility. Somehow restricts the responsibility. Somehow restricted his spontaneity, which was so difficult for him. In fact, the reason he came to Puri is because when he was, it wasn't Indra first, there's another thing. It was a king first. He happened to be the king, but there was an emperor, and they had this niyama agraha, this too much affection for rules. There's too little affection. We're all plagued by that, but there's too much affection. The rules have an objective, and in a particular circumstance where the rule doesn't follow the objective, we don't follow the rule. And I can give just in my life the best example of the second floor of one building in India, and they say there's a snake in the next room. They call the chowkidar, and because of course you wear your shoes, you take them off. You're going in, you don't bring the dirt in. But the chowkidar takes off his shoes to kill the snake. Yes, you respect certain rules to elevate your consciousness, but they don't do you any good if you die. Keep the shoes on, you fool. So the rules, not respecting the prasadam of the Lord, Mahaprasadam Govinde, Nama Brahmani Vaishnave, Swalpa Punya Rito Rajam Vishvasona, the faith. And now he's the king. The emperor was restricting him. Now his position, he got some intimacy with the deity. But even when he went to the Rath-yatra, he sweeps the road and everybody's surrounding him. He can't express himself. He gets frustrated. He basically abdicates the kingdom, but he still has the previous respect. We're all seeking respect, and I think we need that. A healthy self-esteem, but at this high platform, he's very deep. I'm struggling to move out of the center, and all these people are trying to put me in. I want the nectar of bhakti, dasa, anudasa. I want the mood of service. And somehow or other, they're respecting me so much. The king, hail the king. And he began to pray. I want out of this now completely. And then sometimes he would think of Mathurā, how free it was. The cows, as it says here, the cowherd boys, the cows, the birds, the trees, the forest. I'm in New York City. I love the action. Now I have a great apartment on the Upper East Side, and there's so much passion, and I can go here, and I can go here, and it's so much fun. But there's no cows. There's no trees. With the birds, the forest animals, the simple Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛtas. And then these pass, and then these news of Mathurā comes. And then he's lying in bed, tormented by the sorrow and pain. And then Lord Jagannath, who is pained by the suffering of others, gave me the following command. Somehow God is always there. Sarvasya Chahamini. The Śrutam Upanishads gives the example that there's two birds on a tree. One is the living entity, because he's eating the fruits of happiness and distress. He can't hear the super soul who is accompanying him and giving him the knowledge and instructions. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhyo. I am situated in everyone's heart, and for one who worships me with faith and devotion, I give them the knowledge by which they can. So God is speaking, but we are not hearing, because the nutam, ekatvam, the small soul, could focus on one thing and doesn't hear. But that's the concept. The concept is God in the heart, God externally in form of the sadhus, in form of guru. God is instructing us. The information is there. How can we can move back? I was listening to the tape of Prabhupada. How long does it take to go back? Immediately. You can surrender right now. Sarva dharmam parityaja. Mame kam sharanam bhaja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha. Moksha, don't worry, surrender immediately. I will protect you. So he comes. And as dear as this holy city is to me, O son, my birthplace is even more dear. If you have that consciousness, that feeling, we're separated just by our desire. Purify your desire. If you want God, you have God. And if you want God, and you're not, you don't have the level of adhikar yet, but you have that desire, he'll make the arrangements to give you that adhikar, by give you that experiences. And he says, "Bo Gopanandana, oh Gopan, you're the son of the cowherd. Go Kshetram, to that holy city." And that holy city is Sri Mathurā, Janmabhoomi, my birthplace. It's Mama Yata Priyam. It's even more dear. Mathurā is adorned with various sites of my childhood pastime. Just as I've lived here in Puri, wondering about it, I do in Mathurā. It's more dear because my intimate pastimes were there. Someone may be the king and he may be enjoying, but he may remember when I was home and my mother was feeding me. Those were the joyous. I wasn't the king, but I had this intimate love at home. Now I was in India and I moved to America, and now I'm a big person, a big corporation, and so many people worship me, but I hanker when it's home with my brothers, my friends, my family, that intimate, that sweet love. So God is saying that there's a place where the love is even more sweet. And I hanker for that. Gop Kumar might object that here in Puri, the Lord is visible, where in Mathurā he's not, but the Lord Jagannath here answers that he certainly lives in Mathurā, wandering about and enjoying his devotees. And then a pastime, a story I've told before, but I think it's relevant here. I think the story is relevant here. I went one morning to visit this Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj, one of the great disciples of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta. So I went to visit him, and he had just finished his morning bhajan, and he looked up at me and he said, "Kirtaniya Siddhahari, Kirtaniya Siddhahari, Kirtaniya Siddhahari." He's always chanting. And then somehow or other, he was kind of upset because he thought that we were artificially getting into Raganuga Bhakti. So he looked at us and he said, "So you want to get into Raganuga Bhakti, but in the West," he said, "you don't even understand a mother's love for their child." This is what he told us. And then I think a monkey kicked off a little monkey for a banana or something, because it's by Sevakunj, a lot of monkeys outside. And then he said, he told, and it was like so emotional. He said, I knew this man in Calcutta. He was 80 years old. He was 75 years old. And he had 10 sons and 100 grandsons and 1,000 people working for him. And he was so big and served. But he would not eat. He would only take food from the hand of his 95-year-old mother. That is the love of a mother for their child. And if you don't understand that love, how will you understand Mother Yasoda's love for Krishna? So he was pretty emotional about that. So that intimacy, the whole idea of our understanding of the concept of God, that if that intimacy is there, that madhurya, not just understanding the position of God, and just understanding the aspect of God that reciprocates our mood of respect and reverence, which is such a beautiful feeling, but actually understanding the full love of God. Akila Rasamrita Murti. So Jagannath is saying that is there in Mathurā, in Vrindavan. You go back. And don't lament wavering from one decision to another. Just go to Mathurā, and time will surely see me in the form you desire. Yasyasta bhakti bhagavat akinchana savai gunas tattva samasate sura harava bhaktasa guto manorato dasati bhavato mati. Manorata, the chariot of the mind. Don't be on the chariot of the mind. And what's the chariot of the mind? Is this better for me, or is that better for me? Is this better for me, or that better for you? Is this better for me? No, for me, or that better for me? Is this better or that? Calculating. If I get a little more here, I get a little bit more. No, very simple. What is better for Krishna will take you off. What is good for service? What is good for love? That will take you off this torturous platform where you become paralyzed on that mental plane, which is not which is better in the long run, what is more right. No, but for me, if I go get this much more here, or get this much more there, or get this much more here, this much more here, what is better for me? Don't lament. Go. Krishna directs. What you want, I will do. The mental plane. Get out of the mental plane. Go to Krishna. Pray to Krishna deeply. I want to know what's right. I found that this works. If there's a decision we can't make, you go to Krishna and in your heart sincerely pray. I take my personal desire out of the way. You tell me what you want. Inevitably, God speaks to us. I've given this advice to people. God speaks to us. He speaks to us through destiny, through a person, through something. He lets us know. And now he let him know he's sincere. Go to Mathurā. And early in the morning, he received a flower garland from pujaris, indicating the Lord's command. I placed the garland on my neck and departed, bowing down to the chakra on the top of the temple as I saw for the first time. And then he goes to Mathurā. And now we'll read in Mathurā, but a funny thing happens in Mathurā. He had this relationship with Krishna in the deity of Jagannath. But because, he didn't have full knowledge in Mathurā, how to appreciate Mathurā, he came back to Mathurā with a very superficial understanding. And he couldn't understand it. When you talk about something being personal, then you understand your ability to appreciate and understand it is dependent on the will of someone else who will only reveal things to you as they wish. And usually it's because of your love and your devotion and your desire to serve. That's one thing you can't control is another person's love. And the thing that you can't control about another person is the best thing about the person. So somehow he went there. It's just like you go to Vrindavan. Unless you go there in the right mood, you don't see it. And if you go there in the right mood, the same thing is the most beautiful thing. So Gokamor said, I came to Vrindavan, I'm wandering. I wandered freely in such places, Govardhan. Unnoticed by my former friends, in their company I drank the nectar from the cows and happily passed another day I'm worshiping my mantra, the Gopal mantra. But then a hankering to see the Lord of the universe arose in my mind, and it seemed vacant. He didn't see God. There weren't temples there. He didn't see God. And then he went back to Orissa. And then when he went to the Brahmins, this is what happens. You get sidetracked. So then he went back to Orissa. He didn't have that firm conviction. So he didn't come to Mathurā. Somehow in his journey and leaving, he didn't get the right mood. And he didn't get the right mood. He didn't get the right experience. You don't have the right mood. You don't get the right experience in relationship with Krishna, with the Dham. So then he met these Brahmins. And they began to describe a place called Swagar. And it's devoid of misery, and there's no death, and it's like so beautiful, and it's so happiness is there, and Indra rules it. He's the elder brother of Vamanadeva rules it, and he begins to describe it. And then he's sidetracked again. In other words, instead of going on the path of what is best, he goes on the path of learning what is not the best. And when you go on learning on the path, what is not the best, it takes you so much more time to get to to actually what is the best. Okay, so this was my class today. Tried to put some enthusiasm in it. I think Jaya maybe had to go already. I think she did. So Gail, any questions?
Yeah. It's so funny that just a second before you ended the class, I was thinking in my mind that I wish I could get, a more crystallized or clarified understanding of Gopakumar's situation, where he didn't have Sambandha, but he had this feeling in his heart. But because he didn't have Sambandha, he was, going all over the universe,
Right.
basically. Right before you ended the class, you said that he was getting to Raj, but only by landing in places that didn't give him that Raj, experience. It was like the indirect path versus the direct path, because he didn't have Sambandha. And
Right.
so I kind of feel like you, at the dying minute, you gave me that
Gail, I
idea.
just pulled it out at the last second, right? This is called a Hail Mary. Little, bring a little Catholicism there. Little Hail Mary at the end. I wasn't getting it. Gail was sitting there. Why don't you get to the point already? I'm just frustrated what the hell this means. And just before the end, I throw it out and hit a home run. And Gail says, "Wow, I got it."
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful
Gail,
thing.
I'm defeating you week after week now. You have nothing.
Nothing.
But nice to see you and your daughter yesterday.
Yeah, thank you.
And,
Yeah.
and to see you give that affectionate hug to Ganesham.
Oh well, I have no choice when it comes to that.
You know, he has a child now. You know that.
Oh God, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've seen him on Zoom.
Okay.
Yes.
I've invited him to come to Govardhan and just spend time with me. And so, because I have that, I'm developing that ashram for that purpose. And someone like him, he can just come maybe in March, just spend some time with me. We'll have
Oh
some
my
great
God.
time.
Yeah, he actually. I just directly before your class, I heard his class at Bhakti Center.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's great.
yeah. You know, he's my man.
Okay. Gail, I don't know. You have so many men.
I know.
Your husband's such a nice guy. Okay. Okay. But nice to see your daughter too. We're going to contact this week. She,
Oh, that would be beautiful, Maharaj. Thank you.
she was in good spirits. Okay.
Yes, yes, she had an amazing time yesterday.
No, she's got some attraction. That's nice.
Hmm.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna. Thank you for class, Maharaj. This is Timothy Tucker. I met you briefly recently in Raghunath's kitchen.
All right,
And
and we'll see you next week, right?
that's right. I'm very much looking forward to it. So I
Great.
wanted to say
Thank you so much. Beautiful picture of family. Thank you.
thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj, it's Yvette. Thank you for class.
Hey, Bo.
Hare Bol.
Had a nice time yesterday.
Yeah, it was great.
What was your
Well,
highlight?
just serving the devotees.
You working at Wisdom of the Sages a bit too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very well. Thank
Hare
you. Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thanks for the class. Surya Radhika here.
We'll see you next week.
Yes,
That's amazing. I'm so
yeah,
happy
yes,
that you'll finally be able to come to New York.
yeah. I'm so much looking forward to it.
During this time of the year, it's quite I don't know if you can see out the window. You probably can't. But it's quite beautiful here.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay, Haribo.
Very well. Hare Krishna.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for class. Ishvari Sundari.
Haribo.
How are you?
Were you there yesterday?
I was trying to find you. We saw you and then you disappeared, and we saw you and you disappeared.
Who's
But
we?
I was there. I was there with Ethan, with my son.
Oh man, I would have liked to see him. Did he enjoy?
Yeah, he did. Like a lot of people were talking to him a lot about Krishna consciousness, thinking he was a devotee, like an active devotee, right? So it was really cute to see him just participate and go with the flow. So
You know,
yeah, he did.
I had my phone in case people would send me text messages.
Oh,
I know I'll make that sure because yeah, there's so many people I didn't see, so many people I saw. Okay.
yeah.
Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Gurudev.
Jai Shirati, great to see you there with your lavender boots or your blue boots or I don't know what they are. Okay. Okay, good.
I just wanted to say thank you so much. I know you don't like when people saying Happy Father's Day to you, but I
Okay.
just wanted to express my appreciation and gratitude for all that you've done throughout so many years for me in my life
Thank
as
you.
a really shelter giver. Thank you, Gurudev.
I met Jai Shirati when she was on a tour with my friend that was organizing a tour of India. And from that tour, actually, several of those people became very close to me. And that's how I came to Russia from that tour. And then afterwards, Jai Shirati began to organize the tours for him. How long has it been since you've seen Jagadish?
9 years.
Let's pray for him because he's in Israel right now.
Oh my God, yeah.
He's in Tel Aviv. And yeah, he's in Tel Aviv. And um, you know, he's got to get out soon, because he needs to get some rest before he goes to Russia. But let's see
Yeah.
what Krishna does, how long this will last. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. This is Tamala.
You're also right there in Tel Aviv, next to Tel Aviv, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot
Thank you, Guru.
of tension there.
Yes. Yes.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Okay. Well, we'll pray for you. Okay, Haribo.
Thank you, Guru. Thank you. Very good.
Okay. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Krishna Maharaj.
We're
I'll go in there.
Where you headed?
going to the Bhakti Center for viśeṣataḥ's Bhagavatāmṛta class.
What time is this Bhagavatam class?
11.
Oh, 11. Wow.
Yeah.
Boy, you guys are real nectar hounds. Of course, you're everywhere. He was working yesterday, but
Yeah.
don't forget, Lal, don't forget, Braja, that Krishna drove the chariot.
Well,
Okay. Wow.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. It was fun yesterday, right?
yeah, it was really nice. Even though it rained, it was really nice.
Yeah, it was just drizzling. Just drizzling.
Yeah. Did you have a good time?
Yeah, but it's a different type of time.
Yeah.
You do one day, it takes you 2 days to get back to where you were, because it's real.
Yeah.
I mean, like usually by this time I have like 32 rounds chanted. I have my deities, everything done, and more, and writing, but this
Yeah.
was different. I didn't get to bed maybe until midnight or something.
Yeah.
And so it's a different, and also the eating is different, the drinking is different, I thrive on regulation. Same thing every day.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that Lala's just speeding there. Wow, the guy's going quick.
Did you like the cookie, Maharaj?
What?
Did you like the cookie?
Yeah,
Was it
but
okay?
he sent me a whole box and I only got one.
Well, well, no.
No, I
Well,
know that.
it was
No.
for wisdom ages. They're all savages, Maharaj.
I said at least 15 for Maharaj.
I don't know what happened to those anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. You see, I'm in a mood now. It's already past. One more person. Anybody else say hello? Okay. Hare Krishna.